what I'd like you to do is identify something that an emotion keeps you from doing, thinking, feeling, or believing.
So repeat that again. Identify something.
Yeah, something that you'd like to, that you want to do, think, feel, or believe, that an emotion gets in your way, either prevents you from doing it or it gets in your way.
Okay. Maybe give me an example.
All kinds of things. Something that you've kind of wanted to do but haven't. Is there anything in that category?
Okay, wanted to lose weight but haven't.
Okay. And what happens when you think about what you have to do in order to achieve that? Is there an emotion?
Okay, so the emotion being, I know what the emotion is. I'm trying to put the word to it. Give me a second. It's a resistance, more like, how do I describe it? Sorry, and I sometimes get tongue-tied on words, so I have to give me a second here.
That's right.
It's deprived. You're feeling deprived.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't want to be deprived.
Right. Everyone else is eating the chocolate and I can't, or
Yeah, I don't want that.
everyone else is watching movies and
I want mine too.
And I'm pounding the pavement.
Right. Okay. So we will use that as kind of a code word for the exact details of the emotion that you're talking about. So when I use the word deprived, I'm talking about that complex emotion that you feel when you're thinking about what you have to do to lose weight. Okay? Okay. Now, Lisa, when you can you access that feeling now and actually step into it and feel it? Okay. Now, where is that feeling strongest in your body?
Like in my gut and in my upper thighs, actually.
Okay.
Like I'm actually feeling like a vibration.
Oh, okay, great. And if that sensation had a color, what color would it be?
It's actually showing up as yellow.
Sort of a yellow. Okay. So there's this yellow. Now, the vibration, is that happening in your gut and in your thighs?
Yep.
So it's both places. Okay. So it's as if it were one big connected sensation.
Or if I stood up, maybe if you drew a whole circle between that section of me, maybe.
Okay. So from gut down to thighs. Okay. So you've sort of described with your fingers a circle. So is this sensation sort of circular? And if it had a shape, how would you describe the shape?
It's funny because I was picturing circle when you said circle, but really what flashed in my head was square. Like,
okay, that's all right. Go with whatever flashes in your head. It's usually more accurate because you don't want to take the words I throw out. I was just going on the movement that you made with your fingers. Let's do something cute for a minute. Just stand up and feel that despair or deprived and notice if it is one large thing.
The chair doesn't go back very much far. Yeah, it's like from my chest down to my knees, and it's
is it two-dimensional or three-dimensional?
2.
It's two-dimensional, so it has no thickness.
Didn't appear to have any thickness.
Okay. Does it
Feels heavy.
it feels heavy? The sensation,
It feels like an anchor. It feels black.
okay. So now it went from yellow to black.
Like the thinking of feeling deprived, it initially brought on like this yellow
Mhm.
visual. But when I actually I want to use the word think about it, but
Feel
think
it.
or feel about it, and visualize it, it feels like a black.
Okay. It's
And
black. It's heavy.
actually it is 3-dimensional now. It's a black rectangle.
Yeah. Like a book-shaped thing.
And it's anchoring.
Right.
The
Okay.
word anchoring keeps coming up in
All right.
the visual of an anchor or like a kettlebell keeps
Ah,
coming up.
okay. Is there any movement either inside the rectangle, or does the rectangle move at all?
No, it's solid and it's just solid and heavy. No real movement.
Okay. Um, okay, you ready to play with it?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. On some image processing things that you may play with on the internet or on your computer, there's often a slider that will adjust the transparency. That even if something is solid black, you can move that slider so that you can tell that there's blackness there, but you can still see through it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Imagine that there was such an adjustment, and make this black rectangle, heavy rectangle, more transparent. Not totally, but more transparent.
That was funny. So in my lower abdominal area, I actually felt like a shrinking.
Like the rectangle was shrinking.
So I was visualizing the transparency slider that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And as I'm trying to imagine the slider lightening, sliding to the point where the color black is lightening. And in that imagination, the visual sensation was in my lower gut, where I felt like this, like a contraction or like a smallening.
Okay. So it was getting less now, and that sense of deprivation, was that your word?
Mhm.
Yeah, that sense of deprivation, did that shift as you were doing that?
I can't say it did. It was a physical sensation of smaller.
Okay. But even with that smaller, the sense of deprivation didn't change. You didn't feel less deprived or
Right.
more deprived. Okay. Just for fun, push that slider as far over as it goes, so that you can vaguely make out that this thing is there, but it's really not. You can just see right through it.
It's funny. I'm trying to slide it, and there's resistance. So it's like I'm trying to slide it, and someone's pulling it back, and I'm sliding it, and
Okay.
someone's
All
pulling
right.
it back.
That happens. That happens sometimes.
And in
So
that process, I'm feeling my shoulders, like in my
right.
core.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move away from that one. Go back to the original, the heavy black rectangle.
Okay.
and make it lighter. Cut the weight in half.
So I can see the box getting both lighter in color and lighter. And as we do that, I can feel the physical sensation in my legs and in my belly area, like sinking, like sink, smalling and sinking into the chair.
Ah, okay, okay. So that's interesting. So this was heavy, and yet when you lightened it, you were able to sink into the chair. So it's almost as like, this is, I'm projecting here. It's almost as like the weight of this thing was holding you rigid,
Mhm.
depriving you of, I don't know, flexibility. And that as you lightened it, it enabled you to relax. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, lighten it some more. See what happens, or feel what happens.
Like just the thought of lightening it, like I'm feeling my body like kind of like contract smaller, but not contract like you're tensing up a muscle. It's just like smallen. Like, I don't know what other word to use.
Ah,
Um,
is smaller something that happens when you lose weight?
yes.
Is it the same kind of smaller?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Ah, okay. So I'll just throw out a thought from my intuition. Maybe this black box represents weight that you don't want. Maybe that's what it's symbolizing.
Weighing me down. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Um, but check that inside yourself. This is just
Mhm.
something out of my imagination, and it doesn't necessarily apply to you.
Mm-hmm. Kind of two things. Like, yes, it weighs me down, but it's also like an anchor. Like an anchor keeps coming up.
Right, right. Now,
Anchor, like security.
ah, okay.
Like you know
Yeah,
how you're
so this,
anchored in a safe harbor. Like,
right, right. Yeah, an anchor can be two things. It can be a good thing because it grounds you and keeps you safe. It can also be a bad thing because it keeps you from going where you want to go.
mhm,
So is this anchor both?
it is. It's both.
Okay. So um, an anchor usually hooks onto something, like a real boat anchor hooks onto the bottom of whatever body of water you're in.
Mm.
What does this anchor grab a hold of?
It's like safety. It's yeah, like it's feels like a safety net. It feels like it's
Okay,
grounding you to a safe harbor. Like that's what came up the first time too, safe harbor.
okay, okay. Um, well, let's play with this some more. Okay. Um, take it, we've made it lighter.
Hmm.
Did your sense of the anchor, the safety part, did that, was that impacted when you made it lighter?
Let me try again. See, and this is where if I use like that sliding scale again to try and make it lighter as an example, there's such a resistance. Like I'm trying to make it lighter and someone's like, nope, it's got to be here.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and that's what it feels like. And then if I use the other technique where just visualize, just like dropping weight off the anchor.
Uh-huh.
Like I feel that vibration. I feel a vibration literally from my core down to my knees. And I
Okay.
see orange, the orange yellow sun.
And
But the vibration is not a comforting vibration. It's kind of like nerves rattling. It's
got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. So what I'm guessing that we're doing, that's going on here, we've got two things that are in conflict. That's what I'm projecting again. There's
mhm.
two things that are in conflict. One is your desire to lose weight, and the other is the safety from the anchor, and somehow they're linked up. If you feel it, can you do this? Can you let go for a moment of desire to lose weight or thinking about what's involved in losing weight, and just think about safety, the anchor? Can you focus on just the anchor?
There's a lot of red that comes up.
Yeah, a lot of red. Do you feel sensations? What do you feel in your body?
Calm.
You feel calm. Okay. Um,
There's no like physical sensations like before. Like there's no vibration. There's no
right. Okay.
tactile. There's none of those that we spoke about earlier.
How does your mind know, or your body know, that you're anchored, that the anchor is working? Typically, there's a sensation somewhere that lets you know that, but that's typically.
Yeah, it's weird, but I have a sensation in my eye, and it's like
Yeah.
a lens. Like so, basically, I'm
Yeah.
seeing red with swirls of orange and yellow. But in this eye, it's like someone doing like a telescopy kind of lens, and it's like a beam of white.
Uh-huh.
But it's
Okay.
not giving me any message at the moment.
So it's like, you know, Superman's X-ray vision, or somebody beaming a laser at something.
Or trying to look deeper, but like it's not focused yet. Like it's
Ah, okay, okay. Um, well, just ask yourself inside, am I ready to know this or see this?
so. Sorry, I have to repeat that again. So, wanting to keep the anchor or let go of the anchor?
You're focusing on the anchor, and you've got that sense of the eye, of your left eye trying to focus a white beam of light, and just ask yourself, whatever part of you is focusing that beam and not getting it quite right, uh, just ask yourself, am I ready to know this yet? Whatever it is that will show up.
See, and I have a profile of a face looking at me sideways, but I don't know who it is or what it is.
Ah,
But again, it's like eyes looking.
mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Interesting. Yep, I gotta stop right there. Let me make this quiet. There. Okay. So when you're thinking of just the anchor and this sense of safety, there's something about it that you don't know, that's hidden from you.
I kind of have an idea what it is.
Uh-huh.
It's not the, because I think the anchor
Okay. If you
and
had,
weight,
yeah, if you had to guess, what would you guess at?
it minimizes attention on me.
Minimizes attention on you. Okay. That's a remarkably common reason for people to put on weight. Okay, so that's perfectly reasonable. As you,
And it's not that I've put on weight. I've been this size basically my whole life.
oh, okay, okay,
It's not like it's a recent,
right,
but it's
all right,
never been my preferred size. But it's like my
okay,
body tells me to keep it that way. So
oh, okay, okay. So that's in your current comfort zone
um,
as far as, or at least there's a
I
big
guess
part.
yeah, there's a preference zone, I guess, and then in I don't know if you use the word intuitively or not, but there's a comfort zone where um, it draws less attention, I guess.
Right, right, okay, okay. That's kind of what I was, the range of things that I was expecting. So it's not, so the deprived really isn't what's stopping you from losing weight. That's kind of an excuse that your mind is throwing up or tossing out.
Mhm,
The I'm projecting again, but I'm
mhm.
often right at these things. My guess is that what's stopping you is the fear of your anchor letting go, or your fear of losing that safety, or becoming, what would happen if you were suddenly a lot more visible?
Um, uh, just the attention. It's attention that I'm not seeking. Um,
Okay, okay. Is there attention? Are there two kinds of attention? Attention that you don't want and attention that you do want?
um, that's a good question. Yeah, kind of. The attention. So the my preference it would be to be smaller, just from a my appearance point of view, my comfort point of view, my
Yeah,
um, energy point of view.
yeah.
But but the but I don't want the attention of attractiveness for others. And I don't want to I don't want that change to inspire additional physical attention versus more kind of emotional, intellectual attention.
Ah, okay, okay. You don't want to look so good that you get hit on all the time.
Yes.
Well, let's be blunt about it.
Yep.
That's what it is. Okay, okay. Um, if you've been this way for most of your life, how do you know that that's a risk?
well, there's been periods of time where, like I have lost weight and been smaller, and it draws attention from like being hit on, and attention of oh, you've lost weight and you must be sick, or like just
Oh,
attention focused on physical appearance, good
okay,
and bad, right?
okay.
Versus like, how are you today? Like, and
Ah,
having an emotional
okay,
connection, or
okay.
what did you learn today? Like,
Got it,
it's
got
always about the exterior, not the interior.
it. Okay, okay. And there's something in you that uh, that doesn't like that. It's there's something in you
Superficial,
that doesn't like attention. Yeah, that's artificial, superficial.
superficial. Yep.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um, so we've taken this and run down a path where we haven't really done the exercise. We played around with it enough to get some hints that, oh, there's these other things going on, and got some clarity on that. Um,
But just the deprive still comes into play. And it just came to my thought now.
yeah,
The deprive, there's two ways to look at deprive. Because when you diet, I deprive myself of some of those food pleasures,
yeah.
right? And I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Two
But then
kinds of
it
deprive.
intentionally, but in theory, I'm deprived of emotional and intellectual attention. So it's still deprived.
Okay. And does that deprivation of emotional and intellectual attention, what's that got to do with losing weight?
Uh,
Or is it that there's 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 X amount of attention around, and if you lose a bunch of weight, you'll be overwhelmed with superficial attention, and that will push away the attention that you actually want, which is the emotional,
Right,
actually.
right. You'll have deeper deprivation of those things. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Um, I'm going to digress for a bit from the actual exercise. There's a huge assumption built in there, and that is that superficial attention of being more slender and more attractive, or more superficially attractive, will draw in attention that will crowd out the other stuff.
Right.
Now, based on your observations of other people in the world around you, are there people, women in particular, who are closer to your ideal image, and yet capable and succeeding in bringing in the emotional and intellectual attention that you want?
Not in my circle, I guess is what I'm trying to
Ah,
say. Not in my, and yeah, so it's not in my circle. I think it exists. It's just not in my circle.
okay, okay. So it's not, you don't have a close example.
Right.
Okay, okay. Um, if you went to look farther afield to people that are not in your circle, would you find someone, or many someones?
Yeah, like for sure. Like in the workplace, it certainly existed for me, but um, yeah. So yes, it's out there in terms of people who are are slender, have the physical appearance that draws attention physically and superficially, but they also have the attention from an emotional and intellectual point
Right.
of view. But yes,
Yeah.
they exist. I'm not in denial that it doesn't exist.
Right. Okay. So, and this is about desire now. So we've sort of shifted gears a little.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things that get in the way of, we have desires, but there are a couple of things that can get in the way of achieving. One is permission. And permission is almost an obstacle to being serious about a desire. It's like, well, yeah, I'd kind of like to go visit the moon, but that's ridiculous. That'll never happen. And I couldn't do it anyway. Another one is, this doesn't apply to me. It may work for other people, but it doesn't apply to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like that's the limiting belief that you're holding around losing weight. You have a belief, as you've been expressing to me, that anytime you lose weight and become slender and more attractive, more physically attractive, at least in your mind, you end up losing something else that's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this belief that getting both is not possible for you.
Mm-hmm. It resonates.
Right. Yeah. So a piece from let's see, this is from I forget whether it's in chapter 2 or chapter 3 of my book, is to ask yourself, okay, you want to lose weight, and you want to do it in a way that, and you want to both lose weight and either maintain or increase the
Mm-hmm.
proportion of intellectual and emotional attention that you get.
Okay.
So you
Yep.
want both of those things. Now, the question to ask yourself is, what must you believe that you do not believe now in order to become the woman who can do that?
So what I must believe that I don't believe now.
Yeah.
To get both of those things.
Yeah. At the same time, because from the world around you, maybe not your immediate acquaintances and circle, but that there are women in particular who achieve that.
Yep.
So the question to ask yourself, and I can't answer it for you, is what must you believe that you do not believe now to become the person who can make that happen?
Yep. I know what it is.
Okay. Pardon?
I know what it is.
Oh, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you think about that, do you want to believe that?
Yes, I want to believe it.
Okay. So I invite you to, you don't even have to share the actual belief. Write it out and
Mm-hmm.
look at it. Say, this is what I want to believe.
So now you're basically giving yourself an affirmation.
Well, I go through, in the book, I take a radically different approach to affirmations than the rest of the world. I do what you might call, I call it speak your truth. And in a sense, it's incremental affirmations. Because you look at, if you imagine that belief that you want to have as an end point, and look at, okay, what do you believe now? What can you believe right now? And then what's one step closer to that belief that you want? And typically when we figure out, and we play with things, wordings of it, when we get to identifying what's one step closer, it's like your body inside goes, yes, yes, I can do that. And it moves you one step closer. And each step you take, and then when you're there, your mind says, I can do that. I can believe that. And you just practice it a bit and you believe it. And then you look, okay, what's the next step? And what's the next step?
And believing is achieving.
Yeah. And you start moving closer to that belief that you want to have. And when you get, by the time you get close enough, the act of working on that belief will dissolve that sense of this doesn't apply to me. That's what actually happens. So, oh, this does apply to me. I can do this. I just have a little more work to do and I'll be there. And then I can start implementing something. Right. Okay. So that didn't proceed in the normal way that this exercise does, but I think it was valuable. You found it so?
Yeah, it was good. It's yes, it was very good. It's a way of how do I describe, a way of kind of getting through your emotions and filtering the thoughts and twisting it, because I think lots of times you go through life and you have such blinders on where there's a bit of a tunnel vision.
Right.
And that's kind of the course that I'm on right now, because I've had such tunnel vision and I'm just exploring different modalities to actually widen my breadth of vision.
Yeah.
In that sense. But yeah.